Pardon the stupidity. I'm cmshowstopper. DJ, did you see that I picked up the new TNA Deluxe Impact 3 Velvet Sky?
So that explains why your fingers smell like plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Cully Commentary, guys. And gals.
And those in between. First topic on our headlines. Big news, obviously. Miz is the new WWE Champion as he cashed in his Money in the Bank opportunity to become WWE Champion. DJ, I'm going to take it to your thoughts while I grab the timer.
Well, I think now is a good time to do it for the Miz. Obviously, it seems like at this point, WWE has had a history of whoever wins Money in the Bank is winning the world title. I think they're going to keep plugging that for a while until someone of main event importance wins Money in the Bank and doesn't need the title win. In which case, Kane probably would have been a perfect one to do it with because Kane's already, I think this world title run gave him a good credibility, but I think he was already someone who could be a legit contender for the title without needing Money in the Bank. So I feel it's the right time to do it in terms of timing because you don't want him having that title, going in at WrestleMania, still having that title shot. I mean, technically they could have waited till after, but it's time to. You can only let these things go for so long, in my opinion. You got to maintain relevance, and I think it was good timing. Miz himself as the champion, I have a feeling it's going to be short-lived, but that's to be seen.
I mean, I agree with some of your points. I think a shock value is always good to shake things up.
Yep.
I don't really care. Obviously, I think many people already know my opinions on The Miz. And I'll restate the one point because I don't want people to think I'm just a Miz hater. Bottom line, the guy's busted his ass to become a star. He has done everything that Vince has asked him to do. He does the little things, he does the big things, and he does it with as much effort as he possibly can give. So all due credit to a guy like that who is willing to do whatever it takes. But I don't think he's. I think less about that it's the Miz's fault and more about that it's WWE and that machine that put him in that spot. I think if he had gotten some better time in FCW and OVW, he probably would have been more well-rounded as an in-ring performer, which to me, I don't care. It's still pro wrestling to me. It's always going to be pro wrestling, and if you can't work, then you don't belong in the ring, period. That's the way it's always going to be. But as far as the Kane point that you made, before we get too much further into Miz being WWE champ, I don't agree with you on that because Kane's the kind of guy who's busted his ass and he's done everything that Vince has asked. I think that guy deserves a world title run. I think this guy is long overdue for another world title run.
My point was I don't think he needed Money in the Bank. That he's someone who could have won Money in the Bank and lost the title. So that's my point behind that because eventually it's got to happen.
So you don't have a problem with Kane being world champion. You have a problem with him winning Money in the Bank. You're looking for Money in the Bank to be something that elevates, like it did for Edge, like it did for Rob Van Dam.
Exactly, 100%.
Okay, I agree with you. I think Money in the Bank is a perfect opportunity to take that guy who's right on the borderline and boom, shoot him right to the top.
If I can get one quick little last
comment. Go for it.
We did talk about him not being the best of in-ring workers, which I agree. He's definitely improved on that. But the guy knows how to work a microphone. You got to give him at least credit where credit's due.
Yeah, absolutely. The guy can cut a great promo. The I'm awesome thing is probably the best catchphrase that's in pro wrestling currently today. Not talking about anything from the Attitude Era or anything Hogan's ever said. I'm talking about just as a current performer, he probably has the best catchphrase.
You can't see me, he's still pop culture icon.
It is, but do either of us ever say you can't see me?
I've heard it said at work. That's so sad that I can say that.
Second topic today, WWE and their recent releases. Examples, Tiffany, a.k.a. Taryn Terrell, Luke Gallows, Jillian, Shad Gaspard, and MVP.
I think the only one that doesn't fit really with the rest of the mold is going to be MVP for obvious reasons. Is the guy definitely wanted out. I think out of everyone, but from what I've heard, so did Jillian. I heard that Jillian actually wanted out. To go,
maybe, but I guess really the headline topic is more like just getting at the idea of what do you think of these people being gone?
Exactly, and I was going to get there. but you know, that's how the show works. MVP, good for him. I know the guy wanted his release. He can go and pursue his other interests. You know, some of the other people, like Tiffany, I think is going to be really awkward because, you know, as a lot of people know, she is married to Drew McIntyre. I think this is going to be really, really weird, you know, with a guy who's obviously getting a decent enough push in WWE. Not the greatest, but he's not, you know, he's not Kurt Hawkins or Zack Ryder buried on like a superstar.
Did you see what her plans are right now?
I did not.
She is taking any and every independent booking that she can because she wants to be a serious professional wrestler. She has a match scheduled with Alyssa Flash, former TNA Knockout. I think it's PWG, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, she said that she wanted to become a serious pro wrestler. She wanted to learn the craft, and she thought there's no place better to do it than on the indie circuit.
Okay. So we got to hit everyone.
Gallows.
Gallows, I think his time had come. That's one guy I think had to go.
Why?
Because the guy ran his thing with Jesse and Festus, it didn't do much. He ran his thing with Straight Edge Society, his role didn't do much. Punk was obvious, you know.
But without Gallows, that Straight Edge Society is just Punk.
It could have worked with anyone, dude. It could have worked with anyone.
I thought it worked well with Gallows.
Okay,
did you not like the Straight Edge Society?
I did like the Straight Edge.
And it's not just because of Punk.
Right.
You liked it as a group.
Right.
Okay. Now, I mean, you're right. Okay, so maybe Shad could have been in it instead of Luke Gallows.
That's getting to Shad. Obviously, we don't have much time. Getting to Shad. Shad was the wrong one to be released at a crime time. If anyone's got to go, it's got to be JTG.
How did that happen? Shad Gaspard. We're talking about the HNIC. And if you don't know what the HNIC is, I don't think either one of us is in the position to now tell you what the HNIC is. But you need to Google HNIC. Learn to Google, because Google's the shit.
All right, next topic.
Tough Enough is returning.
I know that you and I have had, you know, minor conversations on this leading up to this. You know, Tough Enough as a concept, I mean, it worked for what it was back in the day with MTV, but I think its time has passed, to be perfectly honest.
Why?
I just do. I mean, I think the show ran its course. I mean, obviously ratings declined throughout the process of the Tough Enough seasons. I just, you know, now they have NXT. I feel like NXT and Tough Enough are two similar enough programs. I mean, obviously they're not the same program, but I think they're similar programs. So I really don't think it should be coming back. I mean, obviously there's other stuff about it that you wanted to talk about, and I'll let you express that.
Well, Tough Enough, for one of the things, I got to contend some of your points there. You were saying you didn't really see the purpose of Tough Enough. I want to throw names out at you. Josh Matthews, Chris Nowinski.
I know.
John Morrison.
I realize that.
Melina.
I realize that.
These are all names that came out of Tough Enough in some sort of fashion. Did you know Boogeyman is out of Tough Enough?
I understand that.
These are people who have either are now contributing or have contributed in some sort of... I mean, we're not Boogeyman fans here, but let's face it, Boogeyman made an impression in WWE. People know who Boogeyman is.
He had a match at WrestleMania, man.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, how do you get booked on WrestleMania?
Yeah, dude. If you get a match on WrestleMania, you've obviously made it to some point in your career where they consider you good enough to make the card. Especially at this point when they're having all these like battle royals before WrestleMania,
right,
that tons of people don't get on the card. So for you to get on a WrestleMania card, you're obviously big enough a deal. So yes, you've made your point in terms of that, but I know you wanted to express something else about this.
Well, I'm trying to contend these 2 points that you
right.
made, because you've surprised me. I haven't heard you discuss this with me before. So the other thing, and I don't care if this thing goes ding ding on me, but you said you think NXT and Tough Enough are similar.
Yes,
See, I completely disagree with that, because Tough Enough has always been set up for people who may have independent experience or worked in wrestling or have some sort of training or whatever, but it's still for amateur people. They're not people who are signed to a WWE contract in some sort of fashion. Where NXT, that's exactly what it is. All they're doing is pulling out of their farm system.
So
Oh, you want me to spoil Tough Enough for everyone?
I do. I mean, I figure that.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! You're going to see spoiler now flashing across the screen.
Turn off the YouTube channel.
Yeah, turn off YouTube if you don't want to hear this spoiler. Tough Enough this year is going to be friggin' rigged. That's the way it is. Hey, WWE, that's how it's going. They got a casting director for the show. These poor indie guys are submitting tapes and trying to get on this reality wanted website or whatever to obtain votes, thinking, because they're promised that if they, if they're getting enough votes, they're going to be casted for Tough Enough or at least looked at. They're not, guys. You're not getting looked at. They don't. If they want you, the casting director will call you to get you to submit a tape. Tough Enough now has become basically NXT minus the fact that these guys are signed to FCW or whatever. And for all we know, that might be part of the gig, is that before they put you on Tough Enough, is that they sign you to an FCW deal. Because they don't want you coming on Tough Enough and then showing up on the indie circuit trying to live off of the WWE lifestyle. Because, let's face it, you make it to the show Tough Enough, you're going to start making some good money on the indie circuit because people will start bringing you in. These wrestling conventions that book autographs, they'll book anybody that has ever had a cup of coffee on WWE.
Yep. Okay.
All right, next topic.
Next topic.
Jeff Hardy, final resolution and his physical condition. I'm sure you've read a lot of the internet reports.
Yeah.
And this originally was not going to be a topic here today, but we were enlightened a little bit today with our special guest, which we'll get to later on.
Yeah. I think you can't go without spoiling that. You know what I mean? Because we got to give the truth too. We got to expose the truth.
I think with our special guest, he's the reason why.
The thing. I think the reason it got as much news is because, and I think we both agreed about it, is Jeff has the history of the issues, with some drugs, obviously, with the court dates that keep coming up and going by.
He just got another extension.
People know that. Mm-hmm. But to me, I didn't care that much. All I cared about what was going to happen that night between Morgan and Jeff Hardy.
See, I do. I think if that was legit, man. First of all, if it was legit, you got a major problem because this is supposed to be the second biggest company in North America.
Yes.
Just put on a main event and put Matt Morgan's life in jeopardy. These people are putting their lives on the line in the ring and their careers. If he's in a drug haze and they know it and he's not physically able to compete.
If it was true, there's got to be a way to find a way around it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The match happened.
It did happen, okay. And then, we kind of heard the truth. But that's when I read the spoilers or whatever it is that, Jeff Hardy's in a drug, haze. That's what I was more concerned about, is the fact that what's going to happen tonight at Final Resolution. What's going to happen with the belt. From an industry standpoint, that's what I should be concerned about. From, maybe more of a personal standpoint, I should be concerned if it's true or not.
Well, I meant industry standpoint in the fact that this is a business, and you can't ask a performer to go out there with some guy who could possibly kill him.
It's true, but we know it's not true. Do you want to get into knowing why it's not true?